Welcome to the Occupy Democrat Show. It's an amazing day. My name's Mark Bland.
And I am Jason Cole, still.
But it's not an amazing day for people in the Middle East, Jason.
No, it's a loud day.
It's a loud, unhappy day, and it's loud and unhappy here in America. It's just loud and unhappy everywhere around the world that it possibly could be. And Donald Trump is embroiled deep into the Iran and Israel conflict right now, Jason. With that comes questions from the press regarding the United States and their involvement in the conflict, right? Of course. Trump has been steadfast in saying that he wants to be involved, but he hasn't shown any involvement yet. On the heels of this, his press secretary was asked when he was planning on making a decision. This was her response. Take a look.
Caroline. President Trump has said previously in regard to Russia, he's used this phrase about 2 weeks several times in terms of like, we expect like a 2-week deadline and then you give another 2-week deadline. How can we be sure that he's going to stick to this one on making a decision on Iran?
Well, in those deadlines, as you've seen in respect to Russia, Ukraine, might I add, these are two very different, complicated global conflicts, as you know, that the president inherited from our previous incompetent president in the weakness of the previous administration. And the president has spent a tremendous amount of time and effort cleaning up these crises that were caused by the last administration's just complete dereliction of duty on the world stage and American weakness. Now we have American strength again. With respect to
their brand is stupidity. You know how a lot of times, like NASCAR. At the end of NASCAR, they get out of the car and they got a Coke and they mention all their sponsors.
And Brandon.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. That's what this is. Their brand is saying something stupid about Biden and trying to deflect moronic. Yeah. You ever notice how everything's 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Healthcare plan, 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks away. We're 2 weeks away from that. Healthcare plan, we're 2 weeks away from. Any other the
and do
bill
you know why that is, Jay?
Well, because he's an idiot. But the bill that Biden got done, the infrastructure, that was a 2 week.
That was
thing.
2 week delay on that one too. The reason is because he's not going to do anything, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Let me break down this Iran and Israel conflict for you as best I possibly can. Okay. And I've broken it down on other shows before this, but I'm going to put a little extra onto this one, Jason, for a reason, okay? Me and Jason, we don't want to go to war with Iran. Like, we have talked about this off the air. We've talked about it on the air. We just don't want to go to war with Iran. There's no need for the United States to be involved in a military issue over in the Middle East at all right now. In fact, Donald Trump's most famous argument against Joe Biden was that he pulled out of Afghanistan way too fast. Like, this was a problem. It was out of control. He should have got out of there a while ago. Like, this was plans. He just did it wrong. We need to get out of the Middle East. Everyone needs to be out of the Middle East.
It's almost like they shouldn't have followed someone's timeline. Odd.
Weird.
Who was that?
Whose timeline?
Who was that?
Who got him into the problem? Then you can figure out who's going to get him out of the problem. Well, we know who got him into the problem. It's obvious who gets these people into these problems. Benjamin Netanyahu is just another Donald Trump.
He totally is.
He just wants to be the king of Israel. He thinks that he's got a best friend in Donald Trump. Donald's going to be quiet, guys. I told you day one, June 12th, not July 12th, June 12th, 2025, when we did the show here, I said there were already troops that were working with the Israeli army, and I said those boots were already on the ground. That was day one. And I was getting information from people who had seen it with their own eyes. Now we've got talk behind the scenes of American troops and being involved in things, and they're on the ground, and they're doing it. So yeah, that was all real. Here at Occupy Democrats, we don't have to lie to you. It's not necessary. We just tell you the truth. Donald Trump's not going to get involved. He's going to stay quiet. He doesn't want to be involved because here's the problem. If he goes out there and he throws the spotlight on him, Susie Wiles and them know this, he's going to look like an idiot if it goes to World War III. He's going to look like a moron because he's going to be the guy who started World War III. No one's going to point at Benjamin Netanyahu because nobody cares about Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump is who they talk about in all their newspapers. Trump is who they focus on. Trump's going to be the person who that falls onto then. He doesn't want that. It looks bad. He wants to drop a bomb on Nagasaki. He doesn't want to be Nagasaki. That's what the problem is. But he's also too TOOWEAK or SAWFT. Soft? Like, that's where we're at. We're at the soft phase because he's hoping Benjamin Netanyahu goes in, handles the business, gets rid of the regime, it works out okay, and then he can step out from the shadows and go, see, I was a part of this. You saw me. I left the G7 early. This happened. That happened. We're all happy now. No, because nobody wants to be involved in this conflict. It's in a part of the world where the one guy who's got the nukes, black market style guys, they're not idiots. Somebody was like, what makes you think they got nukes this fast? Dude, they have been dealing with this since the 70s. The 1970s. Seriously, the 1970s, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, they were saying that Iran has been months away from a nuclear weapon since like 91.
Do you think that in 50 years, Jason, me and you could cobble together a couple of contacts on the black market through Russia or somebody else get ourselves a couple of nuclear warheads if we needed it over 50 years? Yeah, guys, I feel like over a 2-month period, if you gave me some contacts and the right people, I could get what you need.
Have they accounted for all of the suitcase nukes that they had in Russia around the time of the fall of the Soviet Union? There were a few of those went missing.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Iran is a good place. I'm not going to sit here and say that they deserve to be in the position they're in or for us to be focusing on them. No, they're bad people. There are very bad people at the top of this regime that need to go down. No different than Netanyahu. Oh, did I just say that right here live on the show? Yeah, they need to all go down. Excuse me. Crazy.
You know, it'll be interesting to see if they go through with regime change, how that will affect the area. Because look what happened in Iraq with Bush and a team of somewhat responsible, somewhat, I guess, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but they're interested parties. Trump administration, they are uninterested and they are irresponsible. They will give up after like a month.
It's a proximity issue. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll make this very easy for you to understand. Remember when 9/11 happened? The people in New York were the most affected. It was right there. It was in their backyard. They could see the smoke. They could see the buildings. It really bothered them because that attack happened really close to home. But here in St. Louis, proximity-wise, we cared, we were worried, but not the same level. California, even different, even less. It's a proximity thing for us, Jason. And by the way, every time the United States of America gets involved in the Middle East, they try to attempt to help change the regime. They put a regime in that they feel is going to work with the United States, and every single time it fails. Might take a year, year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is, but it falls apart every single time. This is going to fall apart too. That is a part of the world where they are worried about arguments from 2,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. It matters today to them, and they think that they need to shoot each other about it. And none of it matters. Look. I know you see the screen here, okay? Iran's, like, for you guys, Iran would be on the other side of Jason's shoulder. Gaza would be my shoulder, and then right over here would be Israel. And then there's a whole, country right here between all of that. Do you understand? Like, these countries aren't even right next to each other. Gaza's right next to Israel. Mm-hmm. That's where they're battling. That's where the Hamas stuff comes in. But they get their marching orders from a country away. It would be the equivalent of us getting marching orders from, like, Nicaragua. We don't take marching orders. Israel's not going to take marching orders. Israel's at the point, Jason, that they and every person I've talked, listen, there's a mix right now in America. There are people like myself and Jason and even conservatives that you've even seen online.
Yes.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene and others saying, we don't want to go to war.
No.
And we agree with them. We never agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's nothing to agree with her on. She's an idiot.
Yeah, I want to say I saw there were 53% of 2024 Trump voters said they are against direct war, direct conflict with Iran. So that's half his base, or at least half his voter base.
That's a lot, guys.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I'm sorry, but
no, it is.
That's a lot. So please stick with me when I say Benjamin Netanyahu, his blood feud mine on. He's going to try to do everything in his power to protect his people, of course, but so are the Iranians. So when you see one lob a bomb and the other one lob one back, do not get all worried about that. That's part of war.
Yeah.
Once you start lobbing bombs at people, they're going to come back at you.
Well, I mean, Netanyahu was a big part of why Trump pulled out of that original.
Correct.
The original nuclear agreement with Iran and what is it, 7 other countries? We had this settled. It was working.
Who settled it, Jay? Who had it all worked out with a nice deal that was already in play?
That was Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, the tan suit guy?
Yeah, he did.
How did he pull that off with a tan suit?
Well, it's called diplomacy and listening to your allies.
He must have used the auto pen. The auto pen flew over there. It signed the deal itself, and then it came right back.
It's harder for MAGA to see because he used his brain. So
everything's harder for MAGA to see because everybody uses their brain.
Yeah, he didn't go on gut and feeling only.
I don't like agreeing with conservatives, but the ones who say we need to be out of this, they're right. And I don't think it's the same reasons. We just don't need to be in the middle of a war over in the Middle East. It's never worked out for us.
And it's like we said, we have the worst people in charge. If you're going to do this, then do this. Full regime change.
But do it right.
Yes, but you have to stay on this. You cannot get disinterested and be like, well, whatever, move on to something else. And that is what they will do. Pete Hegseth will have a part of this. Just remember that.
Where is my guy, Pete Hegseth? Where's Pete Hegseth? Isn't he the defense secretary or something?
Yeah,
he's running stuff?
He's now half a bottle into Jameson, probably.
Now, we're working on an interview with a guy by the name of Ro Khanna.
Yes.
Now, Ro is a congressperson.
Yes, he is.
And he's actually on the war pact
he's
group with Massey. And we're trying to get him on the show here because I want to talk to him about this. He's one of the people that's in charge of talking about this stuff specifically. And I'd like to hear what the people on that committee's feelings are currently about this, because why haven't we enacted the war pact for Congress? Like, we have a war pact with Congress where Congress can say no to things, where the president has to ask for the power. So a lot of the people that were talking to me today about the Israeli-Iran conflict, some of them are Jewish individuals. Mm-hmm. They're very focused, once again, on the proximity aspect over there. They live here. They were born here. They were raised here. They're Americans, but they're very focused on that over there.
Yes.
What I keep trying to tell them is their thing is their whole world to them, but to the people like us in America that are just dealing with the politics of the day-to-day of how the world's working in regards to Donald Trump and the individuals we're dealing with, well, our proximity is here. So the moves he makes to alienate this person or that person to get in a war with this over here while these people ain't watching over there, and then our backs are turned and we don't have the ability to protect ourselves properly because they don't have our backs anymore.
Yes.
All of that's gone out the window, guys. It's all gone out the window.
Yeah, I hope we can have him on because people should listen. Because even if it's Thomas Massey, you may not agree with the way that he interprets the information he gets, but they definitely know more than you do.
Oh, because they're literally dealing with it while sitting in the chair.
Yeah, they're getting classified briefings. They know stuff that you don't.
They just do.
Yeah, you may disagree with, say, how Thomas Massey might feel after hearing that and the way that he interprets it and what he wants to do with it. But he definitely knows more than even us, you know?
And so when America is saying we don't want to go to war with Iran, it's because America and what is its makeup is not the melting pot of 150 years ago that was slowly developing, that where we could go, oh, here's the people from Ireland that are getting off the boats, and here are the people from here that are getting off the boats, and Greek people, and all the different people. Now we're a melting pot. Jason and me were both born here. We live here. We're Americans. This is our country. So it's not just we worry about Jewish religion.
No.
The Jewish religion is one of many religions in the United States of America that we worry about. It's an umbrella. America's an umbrella. So whereas it might be a huge issue for one group of people, it's a much smaller issue for everybody else in America who's not focused or playing along with that. Where we do get involved is World War III. Jason has children.
I do.
I have children.
It would be of that age.
We all have significant others and people like that in our lives, even Metro over here. We don't want to see anything happen to any of them.
No.
And the last thing we need is no Golden Dome, right? Golden Dome that needs to get done. No golden done, and now
that'll be
they're
fast
launching
track.
ICBMs with nuclear warheads on the end of it, and it's Red Dawn. It's not just some movie with Patrick Swayze anymore. It's literally Red Dawn now. The game is on.
Yeah, I mean,
And Canada's not there to have your back anymore.
no,
Neither is Mexico. So they're not going to help you. Trump already pissed them off with tariffs and other dumb things. Do you see? The other dumb things now matter. Because now the war is going to start. Now the shooting's going to start, Jay. This is where the blood starts.
I mean, I just want to
I don't
reiterate.
even know what to do anymore at this point. Like
if they're going to tell us that, American assets are in danger and this is why we need to take part in this,
Sure.
That's fine. Then go through with it all the way. Finish the job. Do not give up on this. Do not do it half-assed. And actually, if you could just not let Pete Hegseth be involved in it at all, that would be even better.
I want to move on, Jay.
All right.
Because in a typical weekly fashion that everyone is waiting for, Donald Trump chose a couple of names out of his famous ball bag on who to hate this week. He sure did. And lo and behold, Jason.
Who did he pull out?
It was one of the favorite punching bags that he has, Jerome Powell. That's right. Mr.
No, that's
Powell
right.
was quietly enjoying his life, went out of the blue. Trump had a few things to say out of character about the head of the Fed. And of course, he was talking about other things when he brought up how much he hates Powell.
Right.
Well, this has also led to a response from Powell when he hit the podium to discuss the newest issues with the country and the economy. But before that, can you play me the first one with Trump, Powell? But I think it's video one or two. I think it's video one.
At this
video,
meeting.
then
So,
the next one, video two. No, you're okay. Not a problem. It's okay, guys. Live show. Things happen.
Too late. I call him Too Late Pal because he's always too late. I mean, if you look at him, every time I did this, I was right 100%. He was wrong. Maybe I should go to the Fed. Am I allowed to appoint myself, Doug? I don't know. Am I allowed to appoint myself at the Fed? I do a much better job than these people. Too late. I call him Too Late Pal.
Look at that stupid hat.
Could he put himself in the Fed? Sure, he could. Of course he
go
could,
ahead.
because it's the Donald Trump regime, and we should just call it a regime. It's the Donald Trump regime, and in the Donald Trump regime, yes, he will just use total immunity that, thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you. Who was our former Merrick Garland? Thank you so much for the total immunity and allowing that stupidity to even stand in the Supreme Court to even judge on this stuff, to even allow this man to run, because look at where we're at now.
That's a position that relies on its independency.
It
And
does.
He's trying to push him around and wants to put someone in there who will do what he wants. It's the exact opposite of what that position is for.
You work a $10 hour wage job. You don't know what the hell you're doing when it comes to politics. You serve donuts at Donut Hut. Sorry. Your Facebook post about how mad you are about this person means nothing to the world. Go back to Donut Hut. Let the big boys play and handle their business. Okay? And this is where we're at with Donald Trump. You need to go back to Donut Hut too, bro.
He should.
Because now you're just making claims you're going to take over the Fed. You were in the middle of another conversation. You just pulled Jerome Powell's name out and you just to be a D-bag about it. Well, that's okay, though. That's okay. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Jerome Powell had some things he liked to say, too. So take a look at this.
At this meeting. So, and those things are probably slow moving. So I think if you look at what's happening here since March, this is since March, right? You see a little slower growth, just a tiny tick up, a 1/10 tick up in unemployment, and you see inflation moving up 0.3. And by the way, it was a similar move from the December SEP to the March. So that's what you see. You see the effects of tariffs. I think we learned in April, after the March meeting, that substantially higher tariffs were likely. And then since then, the estimates of where the tariffs will be have actually moved back down, although still at an elevated level. So we're adapting in real time. And what you see is an accumulation of individual assessments.
All right. So what Jerome Powell said there, ladies and gentlemen, Jason.
Yeah, it's way more professional, too.
He said that the tariffs are hurting America. They are much higher than they need to be. They are slowly coming back, and they are trying to, in real time, adjust as best they can, which is all you can really do. And but Donald Trump's the reason. The tariffs were the reason. Yeah. Donald Trump was wrong about economics. He was not a good businessman at all.
No.
He's not somebody that you should trust. And by the way, if we were to talk about the Israeli-Iran conflict anymore at all I would say is, look at what happened with Ukraine. Why would you trust a person who just dealt like that with a situation with Ukraine for your war at all? I wouldn't want him involved.
I would not.
No. And now he's crashing the country. By the way, all of that's going on still. Our money is getting inflated. All of these things are, by the way, inflation hasn't gone down at all, Jay.
No, it's
it has tapered, but the inflation that was here a year ago that you wanted Joe Biden out of office so that it was fixed. Yeah, here we are the next summer, right? Guys, I want you to understand something. This is important. In just a couple of days, you're 1 year away from the day Joe Biden was on a debate stage and had to step down from the presidential election. Do you understand? We are now a year away from that moment, from when you were on your Facebooks complaining about Joe Biden and the inflation and how bad it was and how Brandons and Dark Brandons and all these people were bad. Now you're a year later. Donald Trump is your president. There's no Joe Biden. There's no Hunter Biden. There's no cocaine. There's no Hunter Biden's laptop. I loved Hunter Biden's laptop. It was one of my favorite things in the world. I wish I could have interviewed. I did interview him on our old show.
Yeah, was there?
He's fantastic. But my point being is none of that exists. That's all gone away, boys. Bye-bye. Done. It's just Donald Trump now. That's all we got, Jay. Donald Trump.
That is.
Donald Trump, high prices, not gone down. Eggs are still high. All your prices are still high. No wall. Mexico never built the wall. That's from 10 years ago. Remember, he promised a wall in the first campaign in 2016. By 2020, there was no wall at all.
And in fact, he put $45 billion in this bill for the wall.
Do you see?
His budget had $45 billion added to that.
$45 billion added to this, but so he had 4 years to build a wall. Couldn't get $45 billion cobbled together at all from Mexico or anywhere else, much less the United States. Now he has full control of the House, the Senate, everything. Big, beautiful bill still is having trouble. You're not getting any of your stuff in. Well, Jason, that brings me to one of your points.
Yes.
They're just not getting any of their stuff.
They're not.
None of it happens.
No, they don't.
Let's talk about that.
We'll talk about Edward Kelly.
Yeah.
We have a little short clip of him. He's a 35-year-old from Maryville, Tennessee, faced multiple charges related to two separate cases. His actions on January 6th, which the worst president in American history pardoned him for.
Yep.
And for a subsequent plot to murder FBI agents investigating his role in the riot on January 6th. Based on the available information in November 2024, Kelly was convicted in Washington, D.C. of 3 felonies and 8 misdemeanors. I thought we had a little clip of him. He's highlighted.
Day 2 of the Edward Kelly trial wrapped up this afternoon. Kelly is the Maryville man accused of conspiring in 2022 to kill FBI agents.
Yeah. Kicking the door open. Look at that.
While awaiting trial for that, he developed a plan. He was
he's got a plan.
Well, he was one of the first riders that you saw to breach the Capitol. He was wearing his gas mask, tactical helmet, and backpack.
He's got all the gear.
He assaulted an officer. He used a wooden plank to smash windows. But all of that was not enough for him. Nope. So following a 3-day trial in Knoxville, Tennessee, Kelly was convicted of 3 additional charges relating to his plot to murder FBI agents who investigated him on January 6th. He has been charged with conspiracy to murder fellow employees, solicitation to commit a crime of violence, influence, and retaliating against federal officials. He is awaiting his sentencing. He is going to get life in prison. That's what they are asking for. Just remember, this is a guy who he pardoned. So.
All right. So you have a pardon.
Yes.
It's on the board for January 6th. This is a new crime. Now, here's where the question comes in, Jay. Excuse me. And I understand that. How far does a pardon from the President of the United States extend?
It extends.
He might try to extend it to immunity.
He very much is trying to do that, but he was convicted and he's awaiting sentencing. I don't think that motion is going to go through. A funny side note, though, one of the things that came out during his trial is he liked to use encrypted communication platforms like Signal.
Really?
And an email handle was chaos_continues. But, you know, for me, the true low information Trump voters are these hourly employees, the wage earners, people like Edward Kelly. They're the ones losing friends and jobs, shilling for a sex abuser. They're the ones getting arrested, all while his tax cut shows who he actually cares about. And it's not them. They hardly benefit from any tax cut he does. And this is why I say they are the worst people among us, because the only thing he has given them is deportations, attacks on gays and lesbians and transgenders. They are willing to trade America.
They don't even benefit from a tax on gays, transgenders, and lesbians because they're all straight and don't like it.
So they are willing to trade America for hatred. They are willing to trade their financial well-being for tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires who would never meet with them or let them anywhere near their country clubs. Truly the worst, because the only thing they get from him is fuel for their hatred.
Yeah, and that's great that you bring that up because, Jason, we're here in St. Louis. Yes. This is a deep red state. You got two bluish guys right here.
Very blue.
We deal with people in this red state all the time, and we're just letting you know, like, you guys don't have anything to show for anything Donald Trump's giving you. I live here. There's nothing in my state. Listen, I see lots of highway work going on. Lots of guys with union jobs working for cities and counties and this, that, and the other. That's all Joe Biden. That was the infrastructure bill. That was Governor Parsons going, yeah, I'll take that money. Yeah. We'll try to make me look good before I walk out of office. Yeah.
And the infrastructure bill is literally the greatest thing because you have Republican after Republican showing up to ribbon-cutting ceremonies for stuff they voted against.
That they voted completely against.
Right.
But at the same point, your roads are getting worked on. But that's all I see here. I don't see any Trump people benefiting with big money.
No, because they don't make enough to benefit.
I don't see any of you guys getting new cars, new houses, new anything.
No, in fact, the tax cut that only benefits middle class is the only one that expires.
By the way, you get up and go to work every day still. Whether it was Joe Biden or Bill Clinton or this person, you still get up every day and you go to work. And none of them have come and taken a picture with you and hung out with you. Maybe some of you have met a president here or there, but outside of that, no.
I mean,
and you make how much an hour? How much do you make an hour? While Donald Trump sits up there and plays golf every day of the week, how much do you make an hour? And by the way, he don't have to get up. He might be tweeting at 3 a.m. in the morning because he's nuts. But he's not getting up at 4 or 5 a.m. like you do so you could be at work by 7.
I mean, that's
and work all day.
The only thing they get, Trump supporters, the average one, is validation for their hatred.
For their hatred, that's it. So you get to say, Mark Bland, I hate you because you disagreed with me on Iraq and Israel and Iran in the Middle East or this or that, whatever. Great. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just going to go on with my life. Jason, hey, I disagree with you. Okay. I disagree that the Chicago Cubs are a good baseball team.
We will move on to something else.
Do you see how the world works?
Yes, there was no plot to murder Mark Bland.
There was no plot. I just said that I disagreed with his stuff and that it looked like we could move on. And that's how life works.
You know, I would ask people.
We're busy.
Ask your, if you still have a friend or a family member that you talk to that is a Trump supporter, ask them, what have you gotten? What have you gotten from his first presidency that apparently he needs to fix during this presidency because he didn't do it back then? Things are still a problem that he didn't do back then. So what did you get?
Wake up, America. Just wake up. Sorry.
It's true.
I need you all to wake up. This is nuts.
Because if the answer is nothing, I have no financial gain for me, no nothing. In fact, some of them are only losing stuff because some of them are Medicare, Medicaid recipients. Some of them are SNAP benefit recipients. They're losing stuff eventually.
All right. You all want to work less hours. You want to have better health care that costs less. You want to be safe in your country and feel better about yourselves. You don't want to be in the middle of wars and problems and stress. Does the things that I just stated, Jason, sound like a bad thing to you?
No, it sounds great to be a voter.
Sounds really good. Then vote for people that are going to work within your interests. I'm sorry. If that's Gavin Newsom, if that's AOC, if that's Kamala Harris, if that's anybody you disagree with, then vote for them. Try to find ways to move this country forward. We will always be tough. Guys, I was slapping and punching myself in the face on the last episode.
We're always going to have bombs.
We always are going to have bombs and missiles and weapons and the ability to be tough and beat our chest and go, we're Americans because we're the baddest. We are.
Yeah, I would ask him, like, every time he embarrasses us on a world stage, is that worth that one transgender swimmer won't be swimming again? Is that worth it?
You said one time on the show, you told me there was like 11 total athletes in all of college sports that this stuff even affects at all.
Less than 30 nationwide in all sports.
You could go to 99% of the swim meets on a guaranteed weekend in the country, and you won't find the one that has that person at it.
Well, and whatever the Riley Gaines, whatever her name was, the lady he brought to his
fourth place, fifth place,
whatever she got beat by like 2 or 3 other women anyway. Like, where's the complaint?
She's Riley Gaines. She's got a cool name like Riley, so we want to start naming our children that as we're having them. And she's got big blonde hair, Jason. Just like
that's true.
Carolyn Levitt has big blonde hair, Jason. And just like Megyn Kelly had big blonde hair, Jason. And just like Rupert Murdoch liked girls with big blonde hair, Jason. And while they all hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, they had big blonde hair, Jason. Do you guys not understand? All we do is sit here and watch the news come in from everybody, and we've got people behind the scenes that we talk to on the streets in Washington, D.C., in this city, in that city. We talk to all of them. That's our job. We are way more adept to running this country, me and Jason,
I could do
than
it.
Donald Trump is.
Maybe we should start
I'm dead serious. I'm not even trying to be funny.
We should start a new hashtag. What have you gotten?
Yeah,
what have you gotten? Hashtag what have you gotten?
What have you gotten?
Because it's not worth it. This is not worth it.
I wish Metro could just type things live on our screen.
Yeah,
it says
just throw it
hashtag. But what have you gotten?
Everything he's doing is not worth your hatred. It's not worth it. They're not coming for you. Gays and lesbians are not coming for you. They don't care. You're probably unattractive and they don't like you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the show. Jason.
Yes.
When we come back, I might have a new cell phone to sell you. I'm just going to be honest with you. We'll be back on the Occupy Democrat show right after this. We're back, Jay. In a bold but baffling move, the Trump Organization has launched Trump Mobile, Jason, a wireless service, and the T1, a gold-branded smartphone announced by Donald Trump's sons, Don Jr. and Eric. Well, that immediately means it's a waste. Trump Mobile operates as a mobile virtual network operator, MVNO, piggybacking on major carriers like AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile, though its provider remains unclear, possibly tied to Liberty Mobile or Ultra Mobile, Jason. Ooh. Priced at $47.45 monthly, it's pricier than the competitors like Boost Mobile's $25 plan, but offers perks like device protection and telehealth. We'll talk. The T1 phone, priced at $499, claims a 6.8-inch AMOLED screen and Android 15, but raises skepticism with questionable specs and dubious made in USA claims. It's kind of weird. Experts call the phone impossible, suspecting it's a rebranded Chinese-made device with no refunds and typo-riddled website, Jason, which was horrible. Trump's mobile venture seems more like a branding stunt than a tech revolution. Now, there it is, Jason.
So dumb.
Beautiful and gold and dumb looking with the words T1 on the back. And then the sleuths came out, Jay.
Yeah, apparently there's a deal with the camera, too.
That's right. They went on to Temu and a bunch of places, DHgate and all these other places online around, and they found almost the exact same phone for like $80 a pop for the phone.
Yeah, what are
they don't have the gold or the T1.
What are they, $500? Is that what?
And it's $500 for the phone. Does that look like a $500 phone? First off,
I want to know.
Apple has you suckered, and it took 25 years to get you here.
I want to know who's on the other end of that telehealth connection. Who are you talking to?
Well, I find it really interesting, Jason.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. This is a conservative branded phone by Trump. Trump, who doesn't want you to have universal health care. Trump, that doesn't want you to have health. He doesn't want you to have good things. Now, all of a sudden, telehealth is going to be a part of the phone. So is that your way of getting health care now in the United States? A telehealth person? Sounds to me like a stupid idea when I need the doctor to physically look at my bones and stuff. Right here. Not saying you can't have a phone call about a cough, but...
No, I'm all for it. If you want to put that as an option on your phone, that's great.
That's universal health care. He's in, but as long as you pay for it, universal health care.
But who's running it? Am I going to get some red-pilled libertarian creep on the other end? Or
it's probably Jared Kushner behind the scenes. Or
am I going to at least get like a nurse practitioner with some sort of working knowledge of the medical field?
The telehealth part is such the slap in the face. Great Android phone, stupid gold look, got it. We saw the dumb Nike shoes or whatever, basketball shoes you tried to do. We get it.
Your Constitution Bible.
By the way, once again, Trump Mobile, the name Trump, Make America Great Again, front of the phone, same thing he said in his campaigns, same thing that he ran on. Right. So here it is, using the presidency to sell merchandise. Another, what do they call these, Jason?
It's a grift.
There it is.
Isn't this Trump steaks, Trump water, Trump vodka, Trump Airlines, Trump casino?
How many of you still have Trump steaks? How many of you used your Trump University degree to get a good job and still have it today? Because no wall ever was built.
And all your credits don't transfer.
Nobody's playing with the gold Trump shoes in the NBA on any court.
No, they probably fall apart.
Nobody's going to buy the Trump Mobile T1 phone except for a couple of loose ends and mental cases like a Marjorie Taylor Greene or somebody dumb like that.
In fact, if you see someone pull that phone out, get away from them.
Just walk away.
Leave that person alone.
And by the way, that's what they're doing with this. This is going to be so dudes in big trucks, especially around here, jacked up trucks, always have the balls.
Yeah, hanging on the tailgate,
the ball
trailer
thing
hitch.
On the trailer hitch, the sack ball thing.
Because
and because you got to have that because it's got to show that I got balls.
Yeah, I'm talking to a woman.
None of them have ever been in fistfights. They all just drive big jacked up. None of them have been in fistfights. Most of them haven't.
None of their balls.
Most of them
they don't hang like that either.
They don't hang like that. They've never been in fistfights. Yeah. They're gonna pull this out with their stupid gold sneakers on and go, "Look, I'm that guy." This is that rapper who's always doing rap songs in Florida. Who's got like a half a beard or whatever.
Yeah, he shows up every now and then.
Yeah, that's it. He gets this phone one time, does it on social media a bunch, and then that's it, guys. In 2026, you're gonna see some people with this. By 2027, nobody's gonna have a T1 Trump phone.
You're gonna see them at outdoor cafes, and it's 85 degrees. They're gonna put their phone on the table and it's gonna explode because it's get too hot.
Well, I feel like it's
covered in gold-plated paint.
I feel like, but it's just so gaudy and over the top. It doesn't make any sense. Now,
gold and dumb.
That's not the only dumb thing going on in America right now, Jay.
Nope.
Things that we talk about all the time on this show, happen when we're not talking about them on the show.
That's right.
Then they become news, and we have to talk about it on the show.
It's like a tree.
So if you could do me, we obviously don't need any Elon Musk news now that he's no longer with Doge. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that weird,
or
though?
the government at all, like in and out, gone.
Like Doge is just, we're not even 6 months in, and that's not even a
Doge is
thing
not even
anymore?
being used for anything. I guess it just doesn't exist. Doesn't matter. It just needed to get into your Social Security for one day, and then it was done.
Just needed all your information. Now it's over.
Now it's over.
Fine.
And it's like, well, guys.
Like, is that even Is it even a fake a thing anymore? Is it a?
I don't know what Doge is. I don't know what Doge is. Does anyone out there know what Doge is?
What's going on here? Yeah, where'd it go? Who's in charge now?
Where's Doge?
Who knows?
All right.
They have all your information, by the way.
But without fail, and like the last two times, Jason, Elon had a mishap with one of his attempted SpaceX flights. And like other ones that drew lawsuits, and he eventually wants to put humans in these rockets to go to Mars.
I ain't getting in that rocket.
The smartest man on Earth can't build a rocket ship at all that works. NASA launches new ones from time to time that do not blow up on the launch pad at all.
No,
Quite often, they're fine. They also have lots of people with college degrees working there that know their job and are really good at what they do. And they're not run by someone showing definite cognitive challenges.
No. Well,
but when you've got people who take their marching orders from individuals with cognitive decline and issues, if you would please play my SpaceX video, these are the kinds
even
of
the other
things
day
that
when
happen.
Whoa! What?
No! Is that Tehran? What's going on here? Yeah, that's what we should do. We should just give Israel a bunch of SpaceX rockets.
Look at that.
And they could land them on the ground in Tehran and then try to lift them off.
There's your SpaceX
rocket.
rocket. Remember,
explode.
Flat Earth, moon landing was fake, but I'm going to try to get to Mars over and over.
That is impressive.
How about you just get off the launch pad and get into space with a flight and go to the moon at all?
How would you like to be a NASA astronaut right now watching that?
You know what would impress me more than anything about Elon Musk?
You're going to strap a shuttle onto that?
No, I'm dead serious. You know what would impress me more than anything about Elon Musk right now if he did it? Take one of your ships, fly up to the moon, and take a picture of yourself on the moon. There you go. You want
selfie?
Listen, but think about it. Who are some of the most famous people in history? The astronauts who landed on the moon for the first time. You're the one who wants to claim that these things are not true and this. Now, I understand Elon is not that guy. He believes in science. He understands all that. But you want to go to the moon. You want to go to Mars. You want to go to all these places. Dude, I feel like the selfie on the moon with the Earth in the background from outside of your suit like this, like the click. Dude, I feel like that's the ultimate shot for anybody on social media.
You know what's weird, though, is he made the rocket that went and got those two astronauts from the space station. Why are all the other ones blowing up? It's odd. I'm not throwing conspiracies out here or anything crazy, but I'm saying
because we don't keep the good and then fix the bad.
Yeah, so
we just do something and go, oh, I succeeded, moving on to the next project. And we don't worry about the last project. Yeah, maybe there's things from the last project we can use on the next project, but as far as the last project goes, it's useless. It's over with. He's basically doing what they do at we talked about the car shows, right? With the concept cars. He's just making concept rockets. That's all he's doing.
This one won't explode. It'll go get those guys. The other ones are all going to blow up.
But it was because of those explosions on those launch pads that he was getting lawsuits and FAA things and issues with safety and transportation.
Took care of that with $248 million.
And then he turned around and bought his way in. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Did I mention it was a year ago at almost this exact same time that Joe Biden was dropping out of the presidential race after a debate? Yeah, it's been going on that long.
You know, Joe Biden had to quit because he kind of like stammered and got his words mixed up. Donald Trump went on the next debate and told everyone that immigrants were eating dogs
and cats.
Yeah,
and you all bought Trump phones and gold sneakers, and now here we are.
And he sat in front of a voter at a town hall and told the voter that teachers are giving sex changes to students without their parents' consent and sending them home. And you people voted for him.
Guys,
it's so sad.
What are you doing in this country? Donald Trump is a bad person. Now, we know we say it all the time on the show. And it's not the only thing that we could possibly talk about, Jason. There's other things that are going on in the world.
It's Juneteenth.
It's Juneteenth.
Juneteenth celebrated today. It's June 19th.
Happy Juneteenth to everybody celebrating Juneteenth.
Yes, it marks the day in 1865 when enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas were informed of their freedom.
So the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yeah, 2 years after that.
So it was the last freed slaves.
Last ones, yes. Yeah.
So let me get this right. In Galveston, Texas.
Yeah, Union General Gordon Granger is the one who told them that.
Gordon Granger's hanging around, and I could have been free for 2 full years.
He was like, hey, guys.
But Granger's just sitting there smoking a cigarette, looking at me, and then, like, hit me with, like, ferns that they, like, cut down.
Well, the South weren't paying attention to that, so it was at the end of the Civil War they were finally free. But yeah. So that's the day of celebration for that. Recognized as a federal holiday since 2021.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
2021. Who was president in 2021, Jason?
Well, if it was before January 20th, Trump, but it wasn't.
You know what you should do? You should sit on the wall and not vote in a general election. You should really help the conservatives get their Trump guy up there while we're trying to rig the elections for him to lose.
Yeah, meanwhile, that's what they're doing for you. What'd you do for them? Let's vote, people. Let's fix this.
Joe Biden gives you Juneteenth. Joe Biden gives you roads that you can drive on. Donald Trump didn't give you your wall. Donald Trump didn't give you your college degree that worked. Donald Trump didn't get you steaks that were delicious and you kept buying them over and over. Donald Trump didn't even sell you a cell phone made by a quality carrier or company because he doesn't have the ability to do things like that.
Right? Like he gives the tax cuts to the millionaires and billionaires. Meanwhile, they're not the schmucks who are buying this crap. It's you guys who don't get the tax cut, who get nothing but anger and resentment towards you because the things you do and say, and you buy this crap with the money you don't have. It's nuts.
Liberals get you stuff.
Yeah.
Conservatives get you nothing and possibly into a world war and shot at and killed.
Fuel your hatred. Fill that up. That's good for you, though.
Right, because your hatred, like Jason said, you're angry right now. You're not a happy person. You want to get out there and beat somebody up and hit them, and you want to show them your T1 phone. But that's all going on over in the Middle East, far away from you, so that when that nuclear warhead comes at 3 o'clock in the morning and you weren't expecting it, realize it was 6, 7, 10,000 miles away somewhere else that decision was made.
We should try to get one of these phones. We should try to get one here. Let's get on that. Let's find someone.
You know what?
Purchase us a phone. I want this here on this table.
I've said this on another show before, but I think it bears to be said on this Occupy Democrats show. There was a movie called The American President. And it was played by Michael Douglas.
Yeah,
it was an amazing movie. It was a fantastic role. And I really do believe he should have gotten an Oscar nomination for the role. Yeah, and he might have. He might have. I'd have to go back and check. But he really should have. But in the movie, he doesn't like the fact that he's got to send a bomb off to kill somebody far off in a land that is nowhere near the United States of America.
I know the scene you're talking about.
And he literally is telling a group of individuals in the room how it's the saddest part of his job is he knows there's a guy mopping a floor who's got a wife and kids, and he doesn't care about Iran, and he doesn't care about Israel and how this all looks. He just is working his job, and he's mopping a floor, and he doesn't want to do nothing but see his daughter or son tonight. He wants to go home and give him a kiss on their forehead and then lay down next to his wife, and then tomorrow he's going to have to do it again and maybe play catch with that daughter or son, or maybe go to the swimming pool or whatever it is. But the point is that man has no clue that a guy named the President of the United States is sitting in a country far, far away from him and makes a decision to make a phone call that tells a drone pilot or someone else to go and level his building that he's in because he's just doing his job.
Yeah,
it's the toughest part about being a president. The reason I bring that up is nothing that you've seen Donald Trump shows any character whatsoever in any decision that he makes. There is character in the individual who thinks about others' lives hundreds and thousands of miles away and the decisions that they're making and how it will affect them. That shows character. That shows leadership. That shows you know what you're doing. And you're making your decision based off of information that's good, that you have, that you know. There's 12 people that work in this building at night. We don't know their names, but there's 12 people that work in this building. We don't want to do this during the day because 350 people work in this building during the day. We're going to do it at night when 12 or 11 or 10 work in the building. But they're not going to get to go home and see their kids. That's how serious this all is.
And that's what I mean about having unserious people. We made the statement earlier in another show that the easiest thing for a president to do is comfort those in times of tragedy. And he fails at that every single time.
The Tim Walz thing on the last show.
Yes.
Failed completely. Said, I hate the guy. I don't like him. He's worthless.
So what do you think he's going to do on the most difficult parts of the job?
What's he going to do?
He's going to fail. People, he's a failure. All right? You voted for a failure, and you only got hate for it. It's time to back out. Let's change the script in 2026.
You stupid. You got stupid things going on. You dumb people, man. You're going to have to get a different job. Stop being stupid. You know who I feel like right now?
Yeah, what?
I feel like Key and Peele when he plays Obama, and then he's got the interpreter played by Keel, who has to like interpret the Obama stuff for Obama.
He does, like, the angry
that's
part.
me. That's me for you. Like you say the legit, and I'm like, yo, you crazy. You got
but
problems.
it really is. At a certain point, you're gonna have a talk with your MAGA loved ones. What are you getting for this? What have you gotten that is worth all of this?
Hey, Metro, have you gotten anything out of the President Trump situation at all?
No,
nope. Hell no.
Nothing specific. There's nothing you can specifically look at. Well, oh, it was this. He has no landmark legislation. He has a tax cut that didn't benefit you. He has nothing.
He's working on important things, though, Jay.
Right. He wanted to be president so he wouldn't go to prison. He didn't want to be president so he could help you. Just remember that.
You say that, Jason, but I'm going to change your mind right now. Because while there is wars going on in the Middle East, while he's alienating all of our allies and putting tariffs on the world to make all of your eggs and chickens and everything cost a lot more in your lives with your $7.25 an hour. Remember, you're $7.25 an hour because
federal employee.
McDonald's workers don't deserve $15.
That's true.
They make hamburgers. So now you keep your little $10 job, digging ditches or whatever, and not get your 15 or 20 like those guys. Because remember, if the minimum wage is at 15, then jobs that don't base on minimum wage could be at 20. But because you're too stupid, you set it at $7.25 or $8.45. Now you got a $12 job. Because I don't have to base it off of what the value is. I can base it off what minimum wage is. I don't pay you minimum wage. I give you $2 more. Now you make $10.50 an hour.
Right?
Look at that.
And that's the thing. The wage earners. That's what happens to them.
Jason?
Yes.
The U.S. government is updating its guidance on alcohol.
Okay.
So while all that's going on, and I explained that, Jason explained that, they're nixing.
What?
Nixing the recommendation to limit yourself to 1 or 2 drinks per day.
That just proves it right there. This is such a shit show. They want you drunk as hell and not paying attention.
How much you want to bet Pete Hegseth was behind?
He's like, yeah.
Seriously, how much do you want to bet a conversation happened behind the scenes with Hegseth, and he's like, yeah, why is it only got to be 1 or 2 drinks a day for moderation? Like, I do 5, 6, and I was fine on Fox and Friends at 7 a.m., so we're good.
When's RFK get involved? He's like, yeah, you know this stuff about heroin.
I only had 4 beers the day I wrestled that bear into the Central Park. But that's what's important to them, Jay. The reason I brought that story up is they're worried about telling you that don't worry about moderation when it comes to your alcohol drinking. Like, that's important to them? All this other stuff, everything this man just brought up, everything I just brought up, all of that stuff, this is what's important to them.
See, what you just said plays right into the what have you gotten. All Trump does is make things around you worse. He lowers your water quality, your air quality, things that companies could poison you with in the ground. You're getting nothing for it. Why? Why did you do this? Do you like poison? Is that the thing? Maybe that's it.
It's very possible that they do.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you like being miserable and you hate other people so much that this is worth it. But I don't think so. I think you made a mistake.
Listen, conservative, I don't want to talk to most of you. I don't want to deal with most of you. I don't want to have a conversation. I don't want to hang out. We don't need to be best friends. But I don't hate any of you either. You're just unimportant.
I used to hate them.
Unimportant.
Yeah, I feel sorry for them now.
This administration is clumsy and unnecessary.
Completely.
So their followers that put the clumsy and unnecessary there are clumsy and unnecessary people.
Right.
You guys flub in your sports. Most of your conservative sports people aren't even very good at the sports that they play in.
No.
They might have one pitcher that's decent, and that's it out of the history of all of those. Right? You got like one guy who drove some cars fast a couple of times, and he's really angry at the world. But then you got Big and Rich. Yeah. You got John Rich from Big and Rich. Like,
shooting
it's not Taylor
animals.
Swift. It's not Elton John. It's not Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg level fame. And feel like it's like Big and Rich.
That's the thing. Like, all celebrity Trump fans.
Kid Rock. Kid Rock is in what we would even consider a top 5 white rapper. Top 5 white rapper.
And there's only 5.
That includes Ball with the Ball and any raps that he did on that album. He's not even a top 5 white rapper. I'll put Lil White from Memphis at number 5 ahead of him for sure. And Lil White might go up a little higher than that in my own book. I'm just saying, I'm not a Lil White fan but that. But I'm just saying, like, there are better people that did their job than even Kid Rock. Even your idols fail at being good at idols.
I was like, we could get rid of all Trump celebrities, people who are self-proclaimed Trump fans, and we wouldn't lose a thing. We would have all of our great music, our books, our movies, everything would be fine.
All Jason
because they're
just
untalented people.
Jason, all you just said was we're going to lose like 8 hours of programming on the CW. That's all you just said. Literally. We're going to lose Xena the Warrior Princess.
Right.
The guys that are in like loincloths around her on the show.
Right.
And then the 2 shows that come on after it.
Well, I mean,
that's it. That's all we're going to lose.
I mean, we don't even see most of them anyway. When's the last time Kevin Sorbo was in a movie?
By the way, we don't even care about the girl that was in that Disney show, The Mandalorian thing from a few years ago. See, we don't even care.
No one cares at all. The show continued and everyone's fine.
Don't care about whatever new show she's been on. Nobody's promoted her.
You know what
she's
she's
been
doing.
on anything. Like, nobody cares. This is what we're trying to tell you.
I don't remember her name.
You know whose names that they do remember? Mark Bland and Jason Call.
That's right, you do now.
And you want to know why you remember our names? Because they're right down there.
Yeah.
We've reached the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. That's the name.
It's hard to forget who I am when it's in front of me.
It is hard to forget. Now, Jason.
Yes.
One last thing before we leave.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that everybody follows us down there at all of our stuff, our names and all of our good stuff down there. Make sure you guys follow Occupy Democrats at all of their social media handles.
Yes.
But Jason, what is your, I do this now so future me doesn't suffer habit? Something that you do now thinking it's going to give you benefit down the road.
I changed my diet a couple years ago, and that's benefiting me.
All right. Now,
no more sugar.
Jason.
Drinks anyway. Yes.
We both have diabetes.
We do.
And we've talked about this many times, but I have type 2 diabetes. Jay, are you type 2?
I have type 2. I am what is now called a historical diabetic. I am out of range.
I am not like that. I have true diabetes in the fact that it affects me and my numbers.
But I still have to watch it.
Yeah.
I could go right back to it.
We both have to watch it.
Yes.
Now, I tried to do the habit that's going to protect you. It was the first 20 years of my life, and my mom and dad refused to allow sugar into my house. So we did that. I sit at 49 with diabetes type 2. All right. There are habits that you can try to push things off with. I did it. Even went into pro sports. Still have diabetes type 2, uncontrolled, not a historical diabetic like that man over there.
There are genetic factors as well.
There are genetic factors. And I'm not saying that this isn't going to work for Jay. What I'm trying to tell you guys is I don't think I have because of that.
No.
I try to do this now so it helps me down the road.
That's the only thing I can even think of.
Nothing off the top of my head. Now,
nothing.
Once again, you're changing your diet for the purposes of diabetes and to help yourself.
I didn't do that until it happened.
But that makes sense. Yeah. And that is something that falls in line with what I'm talking about. I just happen to do the same thing. Not by my decision. My mom and dad chose that. But I read that and I was like, I wonder if Jason's got one because I have one, but I fell out of mine.
That's all I could think of.
All right.
You know what would be nice, though, is if people look us up with our names on social media, if they would not threaten to hurt us.
Oh, are you getting threats?
Well, similar to what you get, but yeah.
86 JK?
That'd be
Is
great.
it 86 JK?
Yeah, just, let's have a conversation.
Hashtag 86 JK. Right. I don't understand.
You don't need to let me know what a giant loser I am and how the world would be better without me. Let's talk.
All right. That's going to do it for us on this episode of the Occupy Democrat Show. We'll see you guys next time on the show.